Exomologiste tokirio te agathos alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu alleluia.
You're still talking about me. You're still talking about me. You're still talking about me, Orlando. You're still talking about me.
Orlando,
I can explain it in a second.
how is that?
I did.
How would that be evangelism?
He said he did. He's honest.
Look how the Muslim and the heretic are uniting.
Why did you feel you need to do that? Why did you?
Can I
What was
explain?
your mistake? Okay.
I promise you I'll explain to you. But I don't want to do it when I'm shouting. Because Orlando, what he wants to do is give a soundbite, and then I'll give a soundbite.
I was in Dubai, in a hotel, and saw him underground.
You know my
in a fight.
I'm not.
Yeah, I like you. Why is the heretic uniting against the Why is the heretic uniting against the Muslim? You know, I'll move because I don't want this drama. I'm not running. I actually want to challenge him to a discussion, but I'm not here for a shouting match because a pastor shouldn't act like a child. No. I'll speak to you after I've done addressing the accusations.
What is the accusations?
The accusation that he is a modalist. No, so I asked him cordially, what do you believe about the Trinity? Because he obviously outed himself out as a modalist, or potentially a modalist, I still don't know.
With Jude, yeah?
With Jude, yes. Then he said in response I was racist.
So they said you believe race before religion.
I don't believe that.
So you believe in religion before race?
I don't think those two things really relate to each other. In the way that I do think race exists. I certainly do think it is a contributing factor towards how we form societies and how people tribalize themselves. But I don't think it seeps into how one would practice their religion.
No, but if one practices their lives, it's very important, especially going to politics. You represent something. So if you're a Christian who's supposed to preach to all nations, then you cannot say you distinguish this nation and this nation.
No, but I could say that those nations,
I don't have a position.
those nations are different, but their religiosity is equal. So, like I said, and I'm going to keep on saying this, an Ethiopian can practice his religion, Christianity, in Ethiopia. A man in England can practice his Christianity in England.
So you want identity as well? Yeah? So
no, I'm just saying that accepting that identity, because I don't believe that Christianity then compels you to a certain political position, right? Wait, hold on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't believe that a man's religion therefore means you have to hold to a certain political position. There are other reasons, like the current state of the UK, that gets me to believe in my politics. It has to be compatible with my politics.
What is your politics?
My politics is that we need to, and again, I want to respond to the accusations, and we can have a debate.
No, we're not.
But
debating,
I'm going to give a statement. Okay, fantastic. I believe in remigration. I believe in remigration.
In what?
I believe in remigration. The concept that we have to remain a homogenous country because there are parts of the UK that have in-group preference that are completely living in isolation to the rest of the community, which then causes an increased amount of crime, which bankrupts local councils and introduces sectarian violence.
So, like for example, we're in London, and not far is Lambeth, and there you have many Portuguese people who identify as Christians. And they're very insular in a sense. The whole road is full of Portuguese people, white people. So you think that they need to be placed back to Portugal? Is that what your politics is?
I would say that
Or did you mean a particular race?
Pardon?
Or did you mean a particular
No,
race?
Hold on.
No, I just want to know. Ask questions.
But there's a difference between...
So I won't push back. I'll ask you the question. Hear me. I'll ask you the
Be honest.
I'm not going to give much pushback because I don't have a dog in this race, but I would like to know your opinions. I think everyone wants to know your opinions.
Yeah.
So would you remigrate those Portuguese people who identify as Christian? Because Bob the Builder, he doesn't mind the landscape being multicultural as long as everyone is Christian, right?
Yeah.
But you say no, it should be what?
Okay, right. I'll answer your question. So, by the way, there's something between race and ethnicity, right? Like, a Polish man is white, an English man is white. I'm not focusing on the white part, I'm focusing on the English and Polish part, right? A second thing you also have to understand is someone from Portugal has a closer ancestral and cultural tie to the land of Europe, to the land of the United Kingdom, than the first generation Bangladeshi migrant, right? And one of the most extreme cases of in-group preference would be Tower Hamlets Council. There were 3 councillors, 2 tried to stand in a Bangladeshi as an MP in Bangladesh and spent more time in Bangladesh than they did in their elected job and position in Tower Hamlets, and one is actually a remaining standing MP in Bangladesh and Tower Hamlets.
Yeah.
I am saying it is better to have an Englishman stand in an English council who has no preference whatsoever to another country and foreign affairs, because if you look at Tower Hamlets, they've gone bankrupt. The government has now had to intervene because they've spent too much. And Tower Hamlets is mostly reigned by dissident Labour councillors.
What are you known to consist?
Bob, now, do you want to not interrupt me?
No, but you're talking at great length, so I just thought it was a discussion.
Great. But if you want
is it not a discussion?
it is a discussion.
Yeah, so people
but
want to know
it's an
some stuff.
uncontrolled discussion.
Yeah, I know. So
which
I'm
means-
allowed to
You're going to
ask
interrupt
you
me?
questions.
You want to interrupt me?
No, we're
you
gonna
can either
talk
have a timed discussion.
Why are you getting so agitated?
You can either have a timed discussion, because you've randomly inserted yourself into
No,
a
I
discussion,
haven't. I was
and
here before
courtesy
you.
follows. You
I was
can't
here
interrupt
before
me.
you.
You
But
can't.
why are you being so defensive?
I'm not being defensive.
you are.
I'm just making
Land
sure.
on your point.
Because
I
my
will.
question-
But
you're
he's
not
not letting
landing.
me land.
The question
He's
was-
not letting me land because you're not even letting me pose the
he has to
question.
listen.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you want to have a timed
I
discussion?
hope you have the same
Do you wanna-
patience. I hope you have the
I will
same
have the
patience.
same patience.
This isn't even debate.
I will
I
have
don't know.
this. If you want to have a timed, I thought you said this wasn't a debate. By
That's
the way.
what I just said
Okay,
now.
great.
Why
So
are you
you've asked me a
asking me?
question.
Yes.
I'm going to answer
you
the
have to
question in
land,
the
you
same
have to
fashion.
land.
Okay, but notice what these guys do.
I'm gonna watch you after.
They're gonna complain. They're gonna
Anything but
complain
the
about.
All right. Let's just go back to
Anything
what
but
you
the
said.
answer. I'm being cordial.
I am
One
going.
second.
I'm going
being
through.
cordial. The whole point is that I
Your
just wanna know
question
his
is
view.
loaded.
But it's
Brother,
his
this
fine.
guy's complaining about me answering the question. I'm not going to be able to give an answer to the question, and he's going to keep on complaining.
Compose yourself. I'm not pushing you.
No.
Just compose yourself. I'm asking a polite question.
You know, there's
in a polite way.
difference between
So
being.
my
I'm
question
loud.
was, yeah,
You're obnoxious. You may be quiet
This
and
man is
obnoxious.
getting off rails. Okay,
Yeah, but he's doing that intentionally. He's doing that intentionally.
Go back.
I am making my point, but he's still
I'm
complaining
obnoxious.
about how long I'm
How
taking
can
to
you
make my
have-
point. How long is he going to take to complain about making a point because I can't end the point?
As you say, I want to test it.
Okay,
So-
great. Let me summarize. Difference between race and ethnicity. Certain ethnic and cultural groups have more of an in-group preference than others, which means if we're talking about a homogenous country, you can keep, European migrants here who have a closer cultural and ethnic background to this country than you can someone who is a first-generation Bangladeshi that is standing in a Bangladeshi election and completely ruining the country they're elected to. Now, I'll answer you this question. Do you think it's acceptable? Wait. I've answered your question. I've answered your question. Now I'm asking your question. Wait. Can I ask this guy a question? Am I going to be able to ask this guy a question?
Question, but I never stood.
How long am I going to be able to until I can ask you a question?
I'm not a politician.
Okay, great.
I don't stand for
Great.
any constituency.
Great.
I
I'm
don't
asking
have
for
any
your position.
representation.
I don't
But
stand
you
in
do,
any
you're a
constituency.
politician.
I'm not.
You're speaking clearly like a politician.
I'm not a politician.
I've asked
I'm a
you-
17-year-old.
Okay.
I'm not a
You
politician.
played that card last time.
Yes.
When we had the discussion, you played that card last time.
Yeah, and every time I'm going to
17 or
play it
not.
until it's
If you
relevant.
put yourself, if
Yeah.
you put yourself.
Can
in
I ask you a
position,
question now?
Well, let me
Can
speak,
I ask this
because
guy a
you
question?
spoke- You spoke for length.
No, because you
spoke
asked
for
me a
length.
question. Now I want to
spoke for
ask you a
length.
question.
We're not going to change the topic.
No, I am not
We're
going
changing
to.
the
I'm not.
topic.
It's on the same topic.
Okay, but let me
No, wait.
let me respond to
Wait,
what you're saying.
I've not been able to make my
Okay,
point.
no, you
Not been
respond
able
what
to
you
ask
said.
a question.
Now it's my turn. To
No, it's
speak.
not, because I still haven't answered my question.
I asked you
You
a
asked me a question, and I've
But we
answered the
haven't
question.
finished the topic.
Now,
We're not gonna go to
no,
another topic.
it's on the same topic. I'm just asking if you're
Okay,
consistent.
I'm gonna respond to what you're saying. I'm gonna respond to
Okay,
your question.
you can
as
respond
well.
to the initial statement. This is how a sort of cultural debate/discussion goes.
Yeah, what?
You ask me a question. I answer that question.
Yeah, but it wasn't
I
a
pose
catchy
you a
question.
question.
No,
Then you
mine
can
wasn't a
respond to my
catchy
rebuttal to that question. Then he can answer the
It's made
question.
it into a debate.
No, you tried to. The deception of Muslims, everyone.
That's fine.
Now,
if you want to do, it's a debate.
do you think? No,
It's a
it
debate
doesn't-
because you want to structure the debate.
Do you want
with
to
the
time
debate.
it? Do you want to have a timed
What's
debate?
the topic of the debate?
Do you wanna have it-
How can you debate about something you
Remigration.
don't know what my state? What's my position?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you a
Exactly, so how
question.
can you debate
Because I'm
about
asking you a
something? I'm
question.
asking you something.
Brother, this guy's being intentionally difficult for no reason. This is the reason why I don't go to Speaker's Corner very long. Okay, go on.
How can you debate someone if you don't know what
That's
their
why I
position
asked you a
is?
que- that's why I was trying to
you
ask
said
you a
you
question.
wanted a debate.
No.
I said, one second.
That was
I
why I
said
was trying
clearly-
to ask you a question.
1 second. I said clearly, I would like to have a discussion. Everyone heard that. I said I would like to ask you questions because the topic starts with the idea is that you believe in race before religion. And you have a position, I don't have a position. I asked you if I can ask you a question. You said yes. So now I asked you a question, but you want to make a debate and ask me. So I asked you about the Portuguese people, and I didn't interrupt you when you spoke at length, only towards the end. The Portuguese, you said you believe in a remigration of who? Of people who are not British. But then I asked you about a community who are very insular just down the road from here. The Portuguese people are lovely people. I asked you, would you have that same ethic for them? You didn't really answer that.
I did.
You made it as,
I did.
You made it into a Bengali thing. You heard how he was clear with the Bengali thing, but he was not specific about the Portuguese. I don't know. Now, if you want a particular English, and you added again, I don't understand fully. He said Polish. What has Polish got to do with Britain? If you said that you want it only to be an English country, I would be up for that for you. I'd understand. You have consistency, but you threw in Polish. You spoke about Bengalis, but you did not speak about the Portuguese, which was the original question. I don't want you to be a politician here. I don't want to do a debate. We could go back to having a civil discussion. It's up to you completely. Or we can go into a debate. It's up to you.
Okay, so first of all, it shows how you've not engaged your ears. Because I gave Polish people as an example of the difference between an ethnicity and race. Because you're fixing me on talking about race, I'm not. I'm talking about culture and ethnicity, because culture is typically a monoculture, which means it comes from one group of people. You know, a culture is a monoculture. It comes from one group of people. The difference between a French culture and a British culture is the fact that it comes from the ethnicity of the land that we're speaking in. And I gave you an example of how English people and Polish people are both white, but of different ethnicities. So I use that. I use that as an example of what is the difference between race and ethnicity. Nowhere did I use Polish people as a way of answering your question. Now, I did actually answer your question. I said no, I wouldn't, because first of all, they're not demographically replacing us. They don't have a child per family unit rate that would demographically replace the native population of this country. Because I believe that a country is defined by its nationality, so its ethnicity, its culture, its religion, and its language. And there are certain different groups which can be characterized by its religion, ethnicity, that have certainly going to replace the native people of this land. I'm a nativist. I believe that we should put the people of this country first.
Do you have Polish in
No.
you? You're fully what?
I'm part Scottish, part English, and I have a majority Anglo-Saxon. But I want to caveat this. I want to caveat this, right? My migration policy is that we need to start chopping off people in a list of people when it comes to deportations.
If he said that, you won't say wait. If he said that, you won't say wait.
No, I mean it.
Something off.
Hello, my Marxist friend.
That's what you call a Freudian
I'm doing
slip.
well. Pardon?
Trying to say now.
Pardon?
Go on.
No, because I don't believe in if you're this percentage you need to go, and if you're in this percentage you need to go. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would say that we need to start, if we were to prioritize a list of people that do not socially integrate or have in-group preference or erode the ethnicity, culture, religion or language of this country, we need to deport. And we need to deport until we get to, let's just say, 85, 90, 95%.
Who would you start with?
Well, we would start with.
Who would you start
we
with?
would start.
Was it Africans
We would start.
or Asians
We would start
or
with different
South
classifications of people. So illegal migrants,
that's
foreign
obvious,
criminals, then people who don't socially integrate,
great, yeah.
then people.
How would you determine someone doesn't socially integrate?
You'd look
Are my
at,
questions like
Yeah.
Attacking, or do you feel like I was in my
No,
question?
not at all.
No, okay. So because I want to bring down the discussion level, because there's a bit.
Yeah. So
attacking.
my definition of integration is two ideas that overlap with each other.
What's the standard? What would be the
No,
standard?
the standard is this, if it meets the definition of the word. Integration is this understanding that, two sets of ideas can overlap each other. If that can't take place, you're gone. What ideas? The ideas that they're importing here.
Or two diametrically opposed ideas.
Yes.
You mean? Okay, but what's the standard?
Well, of course, culture.
Christianity was imported here,
Pardon?
wasn't it? Christianity
But it's
Yeah.
the dominant religion now.
was in-
Are you going to interrupt this discussion, my Marxist friend?
to interrupt like anybody else. Yeah, why not?
Okay, but of course this guy's held me to high standards Great.
No, I'm being fair in this discussion. I haven't been attacking. I just want to hear.
Well, you
your
haven't.
opinion. I haven't.
You've intentionally been
But
deceptive.
Deceptive.
Yes.
And you called me obnoxious as well. That's two.
Yeah, because those are the two things that you are.
I took it. That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, you
what way
obviously
do you
do.
feel that I've been deceptive?
So, throughout your rebuttal, you've used rhetoric.
We're not debating.
Well, it is.
No,
You can
I
say you're
haven't
not,
pushed
but you
on.
are.
I said in the beginning.
Because in Speaker's Corner, when people don't have a developed sense of argumentation,
You think
for
I
the
don't-
camera,
We debated
asking
before.
inflammatory questions is of course a form
What's
of debating.
inflammatory? This is you said
Because
grace
instead of
for
asking my
religion.
ideas, you've asked
You seem like you
questions
don't
which
take
load
questions well.
contradictions.
You seem like you don't
No, I don't
take
take dishonest people very
I
well.
can see your face twitching.
I don't
you're not
take
taking it
I don't
very
take
well.
dishonest people
I've
very
asked
well.
you questions. I've given you plenty and ample time to speak.
I don't
yeah?
take- yep.
I haven't really pushed back on your ideas.
Of course you have. The first question did that.
Did push back. No.
Yes, you did.
I asked you
The first
clearly
question was
about
on
the
consistency.
Portuguese
That's the debating.
people, yeah?
And I gave you a strict
Didn't
answer.
you
No.
spoke about
I
clearly-
said no.
Yeah, you said no, you said no.
I said no.
Yeah, you spoke about Bengali people at length. Now,
No, I
asked
didn't.
you-
I
asked
gave an
you-
example of Tower Hamlets, which is a
Are you gonna let me
75%
speak?
more
Because
foreign
when
population.
you spoke and I let you speak at length, and at the end when I tried to, speak, you said I was interrupting.
Yes.
You. Okay. Now my question, next one is,
Yeah.
what is the standard? So the gentleman here is saying that
I'm not allowed
Britain.
in. I'm not allowed in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Britain originally was, I don't know, a Celtic or like the Celts, or there were pagans. At what point do we say this culture is static? It no longer moves into something else. Why don't we go back to it? It seems completely arbitrary. When do we say this is Britain? If we say it's never changing and we shouldn't change it any further, at what point in history
Yeah, we could be.
was this a good
we can simply negate it, right? So, of course, there's difference between a historical change demographically towards pagans, because the native people.
What's the cut-off point?
My friend, do you want to give me an opportunity to respond?
Remember,
I know
you
you're a very
decided from the
charismatic Marxist, but unfortunately I have to have ample time to respond. Great.
This is Speaker's Corner,
Yep.
mate. I am quite experienced here.
Yeah, I can tell from the
You don't
grey
get
hair.
to decide when people can interrupt or.
Of course, but if it's
You don't
made to
get
be a
decide
one-to-one
that.
discussion,
Who
unfortunately
says that?
parties
You
like you
were standing
can't.
in Speaker's
He
Corner.
just said that,
On
and
a
you agreed with
one-to-one,
him.
you go-
Wait, why have you not interrupted him?
One-to-one, you go in bloody McDonald's.
Wait, so hold
You want a
on.
one-to-one,
So you
you
never
don't stand in
interrupted him?
Speaker's Corner.
Did you interrupt him?
I'll interrupt him if I think he needs interrupting. If I need to interject.
Wait.
In Parliament, we interject
So-
as well.
right, I
So
get it.
constantly.
At Speaker's Corner. I'm
But
not
even-
making
even
comments-
that-
I'm not
even
making
in the
comments
House-
that
But why
are
do you get
totally
offended?
tangential.
I'm not.
Just answer
I'm just
like-
trying
like
to
answer,
answer.
like-
Just trying to answer, but I don't appreciate
you're not
snarky comments when I'm
apologetic,
trying
like
to
you
answer.
said, you shouldn't worry
Answer
someone asks.
multiple
If someone asks me a question,
I am
I'm so
unapologetic,
happy,
but
you know,
I don't like snarky Marxists. That's all.
If someone, you've
Yes.
seen me on my
It's
table. If
snarky.
someone asks me a question, I enjoy it.
Obviously got
because
offended
it
by
gives me
that
an
statement.
opportunity to speak and put my
Snarky.
Because it's childish, that's why.
Well, 'cause that's what you're doing, is
Young
showing
Bob
this.
doesn't mean you have to behave that way.
So
It's the
the
whole
question
character.
is, where's the cut-off point?
Great.
Where's the
when the
milestone
native
of
when the native people decide to convert to that religion. The religion of a country is set by the president of the people converting to that religion. Unless I see a mass amount of conversions to Islam,
There are.
not a mass. And in fact, conversions, like reverts, if you actually look at the data, right, it's underreported within the Muslim communities because no one wants to point it out, but in the Christian communities it's great, and also other communities of religious groups. Religious converts typically deconvert, right? And it's
Typically
deconvert.
Oh, no, I know, I understood
What's
the
your
word.
source for
What's
that?
your source for that?
Pardon?
If they typically deconvert, then why is it seen as a
Okay.
threat to you?
Okay.
One second,
Oh, wait.
one second, Bob.
I don't want to move this
Bob,
discussion.
Bob,
I don't want to.
let me
Wait.
answer the
I don't want to. I don't want to
question.
move this.
You have to
I don't. No.
answer. You have
I
to
don't. I don't want to
answer.
move this.
Is it-
I don't want to move this
Bob,
discussion. I was answering this guy's question. I want to make this very clear.
Bob,
My.
take your
My.
time.
Wait.
Relax.
Wait.
If you say Islam,
Wait. I want to.
my question was
No. The religion of a country is set on the precedent of the native people and their religions.
Okay, so
People
my
here don't
point
have
was
any
that you
good
feel
vision.
threatened by Islam. This is
people
what
here
we,
don't go to
No.
You know, you did say
No.
that if the demographics is changed and you mentioned Islam, so clearly.
As
it
an
shows
example,
us
do you want me
when
to bring up
go-
Hinduism?
Let me
imagining
finish. Let me
Britain
finish.
is
Yeah?
Christian.
It doesn't have to be a debate. Not everything in the world needs to be a debate.
Of course not.
Right? We can
But
have
if
a
you make it to be a
conversation.
debate,
Hear
of
me,
course
hear
it
me.
will have to be.
You keep interjecting every 2 seconds. I'll let you speak. And
But
it's
so is he,
wonderful-
and you haven't condemned him yet.
So what she can
Look,
condemn.
you're the
Yeah.
person in the
Someone interacts with
spotlight.
Speaker's Corner. Islam.
Pardon?
And you condemn.
You're the one in the spotlight. Forget everything around you. Focus on your argument.
My friend, as much as it was Valentine's yesterday, I'm not going to focus on your eyes.
Okay, yes. Haha, you're very funny. My point is, yeah, this is an opportunity to express yourself, yeah?
Correct.
It's like a Bible. I asked you questions. I'm not giving you a debate. I want to hear your answers. And this is what we're asking. So the question now is that you feel that Islam, many people who convert in, convert out. So how then does that become a threat to identity?
Okay, great.
Do you understand?
So it was irrelevant to the original point. It's irrelevant to the original point.
That doesn't
It
matter.
diverts away from the course of the discussion, and I want to make it very clear. Your original question was, what is the religion of the country? I've said,
That's what my original
yeah,
question.
that
No,
was the original
it
question.
wasn't mine,
No,
so
my
what?
fr-
That wasn't
this
the
guy is
question.
so difficult to debate. My goodness, the original
It's not a
question.
debate. That wasn't my question.
Okay.
My question at what
You're
point,
taking a
what point
course
is
of
this-
questions,
That wasn't
innocently
my point.
trying to hide
Bobby,
behind the fact it
Bob,
isn't a debate,
Bob,
but in fact it is.
Bob, you can't be a politician everywhere you go, okay?
Pardon?
You can't be a politician everywhere
Yeah.
you go. My question wasn't that. The camera's there, they are recording, and this is your political life that's
But
on
I
record.
am
This is
young,
your-
Bob, so I have to act like this.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm not acting like that to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to
And
make
you want to
feel-
talk to me, but unfortunately that won't
But
happen.
focus. I'm not trying to make you feel small. I think you're smart. I think potentially you could be on a good course. I can stand here. You said bad things about me. It's okay. You are young. You can be strong. You can achieve good things. But there's some things,
Motivational quote.
focus. There's some things that you have to overcome. Not with me, but within yourself, okay? So again, I want to
Oh, he's a
ask you-
therapist now. He's gonna say there's something personally wrong with me.
If you need that, that's fine. I would like to ask you questions without you feeling that it's a debate. As a politician, this will
Okay,
help your life.
so can we clarify, because I don't want to end up here for an hour, because one of the reasons why I don't
Well, where do
consistently...
you have to go?
Okay.
Are you...
No, I just don't like an hour-long discussion. So say how many questions you want. If you want to transform it to debate, that's fine, but agree on the structure.
There's no debate. We're just having a question.
No. I want to make this very clear. I'm not going to have an endless Q&A of me and you and the old fella over there, the Santa Claus Marxist fella.
That's
So
not nice.
set
That's
how
not
many?
nice.
Set,
That's not nice.
set,
Why do you have to be so
so
mean?
set-
That's my question.
set-
Why do you have to be so mean
set-
as a
'cause he's
politician for
mean.
the people?
He's mean.
Why do you have to be mean? But
He's
why
mean.
does that mean you have to be mean?
Because-
I'll tell you why.
Because respect is...
I
Okay, now he's going to act like my therapist. So can I please finish the
That's very
sentence?
rude. That's
Let me
very
finish
rude.
the
But no,
sentence.
that's okay. I'm
Let me
used to
finish
your
the
rudeness,
sentence.
yeah? No, let me
Let
ask
me
you a
finish. I
question.
don't see a lot of fruit in this debate. So either give
not
me...
a debate.
I just want how many questions this guy's going to ask me, or if he's going to lead into a debate.
It's not going nowhere.
Is this guy going to give me how many questions does he wants to ask me? Because if not, I'm going to
How
cap
much
him
would
at
you
one
allow
more.
me? How much would
Wait,
you allow
one
me?
more question. Or
Just
if
one more
not,
question.
challenge me to a debate. And in which we'll
What's
agree to
the
a debate.
debate? Why do you always
I don't want to
want
talk to a Marxist.
Marxist.
I don't want to debate a Marxist.
You
gonna get to a
don't
debate.
want to, or you don't feel competent to do so.
Both. Because admittedly, I don't know a lot about
At
Marx.
least he was honest.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm not asking
okay.
you to know a lot
So
about
you
Marx.
want to be a person's people. This is the question I'm asking. So bear patience enough.
The last question.
Bear patience enough for me to give you the question, listen to the question, understand it. Now me as a Muslim, I feel it's necessary for me to be kind to people even when they're mean to me. When they call me names, no problem, I'll meet them with love. If they're a potential politician, I should hope that they're a people's person. They represent the people around them. They're not mean people. They don't call people names, even if they differ with them politically, religiously, in any form of ideas. How far do you think, even though you're 17, how far do you think, Bob, that you will get in life being so mean and unrepresentable of Christianity when you think that Jesus was the kindest, nicest person that history ever saw? How much of you do you think represents good Christianity?
Fantastic.
That's my last question.
Final question, and here's my final answers. Now, firstly, I think God actually creates these borders. Because what is the thing? What is the thing that is the punishment of God at the Tower of Babel? When everyone unites, builds a tower up to the heavens, and is completely destroyed, what is the punishment? He wants to divide the people, and how does he do that? He introduces different cultures, because God understands that people cannot unite if their cultures make these people indifferent to each other. So,
Culture of the kingdom of God.
of course, but that's not achievable. But that's not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. How many times are going to be able to not give an answer to my final question? In fact, I'll give my answer around here if these two want to keep on being the charismatic duo. I'll come around. Nice discussion.
Why is it
I think
okay
he's a
Yeah.
to say
young man. He's got
that
a
you
lot
don't know
of
enough
more
about Marxism to debate it,
Yeah.
but you can condemn me for being a Marxist? How is that okay?
Oh, it's just against the church teachings.
What's against the church teaching?
Orthodoxy's had a long history
What
of...
is against the church?
My friend, I'm not going to be let into a
What is it?
discussion.
You just said it's against the church.
Okay, I apologise for condemning you as a Marxist. I don't want to engage in Marxism.
I don't mind debate.
Okay, but then you just said it's against the teachings of Jesus.
Okay,
or
I
Christianity.
apologise making an unlearned statement. I don't want to have a discussion with you.
I mean, you come down here, you talk about mass deportation, you try and antagonise people.
No, you asked me a question.
You hang around with Tommy Robinson, and you
He's a man.
and
That's
turning,
what got him.
and turning points, right?
Yeah.
And then you're not prepared to debate. You come down
About
to Speaker's
what-
Corner and
what
start a
Marxism?
discussion one-on-one to try and make yourself look pretty clever.
I don't
And when
think
people,
that.
And when people who are experienced at Speaker's Corner
Yeah.
come up and ask you to debate things, you run away.
What? Okay.
So no, I don't. I'm not
So,
saying. I accept.
never
I accept that you
claimed-
can- I accept you can turn around and say,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know enough to discuss with you, but perhaps you can come to Speaker's Corner with a little bit of humility.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other people here who've got ideas, and there are plenty of people who are experienced in the nature of Speaker's Corner. But one thing about the nature of Speaker's Corner, the positive nature of Speaker's Corner is we are prepared to debate with people, and we're prepared to accept that they might have a point of view, I might have a point of view, other people might have a point of view. That's what Speaker's Corner is about. It's not, however, I agree,
Yeah.
it's not quite what you're used to in trying to impersonate Charlie Kirk.
It's not
I
why-
accept
left
it might
turning
not
point,
be-
I'm
it
not
might
Charlie
be-
Kirk.
Well, I
Left
mean, I
turning
saw
point,
you only
not Charlie
2 weeks
Kirk.
ago, sitting here like a
With
Charlie
Urban
Kirk
Scoop.
style, going mass deportation now. Ask me why.
Why is it
And
there's
then
always
what
a
you do-
personal
and then what
discussion
you
about
do-
my
And then what
psychology?
you do is you invite a few people up.
It's
and you
exhausting.
edit the video,
I don't want to talk
edit it
about
together,
myself.
and
Exhausting.
Put out a video going, oh my God, look
I
how we
hate.
caught
Do you know what?
that idiot
I just
out."
get
And
fed
a short
up.
little- and a
You know,
short
one of the
little
things I
clip.
get fed up about. One of the things I get fed up about is people talking about my personal psychology. I'm not Charlie Kirk, not at all. So I'm going to move away from this drama.
Why do you leave Turning Point?
Why did I? No, I don't want to speak to
You've
you.
learned
that's
to
what I'm
debate,
just, you
come
know,
back.
speak to me.
Great.
You've learned to
When I've read a bit of Mark's works, I will.
But why do you leave Turning Point?
Why did I leave? I'll speak off camera.
You don't have to have
Why
read.
do you leave Turning Point?
My friend, we literally just finished. I wanted to respond to the accusations of Orlando.
Why do you leave Turning
Then,
Point?
because the thing is with this guy, the reason why I don't want to talk to him is because you just give me an endless amount of questions. If he wants to say 2-minute debate, question on question, or point on point, you can respond. I'll do that. One of the reasons why I despise Speaker's Corner is because.
You love it. You live for
No,
it.
I don't.
You love it.
No, when was the last
love
time
it.
you saw me do Speaker's Corner debates?
How many 70 years are here?
The reason why I despise Speaker's Corner it's because of the way that some people try to intentionally deceptively play themselves as an innocent character, even though being intentionally deceptive and dishonest. Or alternatively, fellows like that believe they can look into the psychology of young Bob and know what he wants. I made this very clear. I don't even like being called Charlie Kirk. I don't exactly agree with him in all his positions. And I'm my own man. In fact, I decided to intentionally leave the organisation he was a part of because I didn't like the way that the British branch was being managed. I do have great admirations for the fella, but I am my own man with my own shadow, and I don't want to be cast in the shadow of another person.
So why is your name Bob?
Why is my name Bob? Well, that's because someone gave it to me. But I've completely detached myself from the Bob
You
brand.
should have your name.
He's completely obsessed with me. Go find someone else. Now, in answering you to his question, I believe that if you look at the Tower of Babel, God understands that in dividing people, he must introduce multiculturalism. This idea that different people possess different cultures. And he does that because then the people can't unite and go against him.
But that was a punishment.
So, yeah, a punishment. So if
God is
people,
punishing the people by
he agrees with me.
It's not a good
He
thing.
it's not a good thing to be
Yeah, so
separate,
the Tower
but you
of
can't be
Babel is
united
brutality.
under different
That's not a
cultures.
Christian position.
Wait, you
Right?
disagreed with
Yes
me.
or no?
It's a punishment. If it's a punishment, that therefore means someone trying to
think
do
people
something
should be
that is
punished?
considered a punishment in the eyes of God will ultimately fail because God is perfect. His punishments will be perfect
So
in the
it's
way he
race before
performs it.
religion?
No.
It sounds
No.
like that.
I said
So are you
culture.
supposed to go
I
to
said
all
culture. I said
Are
culture.
you not supposed to, as a Christian?
Do you want me to move further? Because
go
I'm trying to give
to all
I'm trying to
nations?
respond to different things that are relevant to you. I'm trying to respond to what Orlando said. I'm trying to respond the
When
original
you go,
question.
We're talking about this. Stop running
No, we're
away.
not.
As a Christian,
I'm trying to
as
answer
a
my question.
Christian,
What happened to the
should
final
you not be
question?
loving
Absolutely
God?
comedic. Now I'm going to
It's
speak
not.
over him. So, the thing that I said that people that have different cultures can't unite. And God uses that as a punishment, which proves the point. Because God's punishments are perfect, They do what is intended, and if it's intended to separate people by introducing different cultures, means multiculturalism is flawed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, culture is a monocult. It comes from one group of people. That is why I'm not an ethno-nationalist, I'm not a civic nationalist. I stand in between. No, let me respond. And in fact, I said it was the final question I was going to give to him because it's exhausting. I want to go around the park.
This is Speaker's Corner, mate.
So, I'm not a civic nationalist, I'm not an ethno-nationalist. I disagree with Bob on nationalism, I think he's too weak. I disagree with Steve Laws because he's too strong. I sit on a position where I can accept the relationship between ethnicity and culture, whilst also saying that there are some small percentage amount of people that can come here and embrace the culture of the native people. That's my position. That is completely mischaracterized by Orlando, which decided to portray me as someone who worships my race, but does not worship my God. My religion is the kingdom of God that Christ set down with the first of many, Peter. And I still challenge Orlando to a discussion, even either off camera or on camera, because I'd prefer it not being comedical and theatrical, where we have several people who are sort of the students of Orlando, trying to ask why he won't engage with me, and filling in with a bunch of lies about how I try to act like people I'm not.
Carry on with that in your mouth, okay?
With what?
Right? With what you're doing.
What am I doing?
Right? Do not keep on separating the body of Christ with your own.
I separate modalism.
Yeah.
I separate
No,
modalism from orthodoxy.
You are making a judgment, right? And you do not
Yeah,
have
and so
that
will God.
position to have that judgment. I've watched you from you were 15 years of age.
Okay.
Right? And you have.
Now she's making a judgment.
No, I said I've watched you. Where's the judgment? I did. I said I've watched you. I didn't.
You're going to make a judgment. Watch.
I can make a judgment.
Okay,
now.
so you can, I can't.
I'm making the judgment now.
Okay,
Right?
so I can't, but she
I'm
can.
making the judgment now, right? Some of the things that come out of your mouth are so ungodly.
Do you want to debate that?
You create hate.
Do you want to debate that?
You are creating hate.
Do you want to debate
You
that?
are creating.
Pardon?
I don't need to debate.
Yeah, that's fine.
With people who want
But
to
she
hate.
can't interject,
You come in here,
preach, and then.
come in
But
here
it is
because
Speaker's Corner.
because it doesn't fit your narrative, right?
Yeah.
You start demonizing everybody. If you've got something to say, according to your book, according to Paul, you take the bridges to one side and you have that discussion, right?
Okay, so.
I leave it at that. Don't do it here.
So every time
Don't do it here.
I'm going to do it here.
No, thank you.
I'm going to do it here.
You're going to do it here because you have a rebellious spirit.
No,
Absalom.
I'm rebellious against heretics.
Absalom.
Okay, like the
Absalom.
church historically
You know
has been,
Absalom?
I'm rebellious against heretics.
You know Absalom.
Pardon?
You know Absalom.
No, please teach me.
From the Old Testament.
What does it? What's heretic? What does heretic mean?
Sons of David.
All right, sorry.
But I want to know what actually she has a problem with. Bring that up instead of saying how bad of a person.
Look,
she is.
I don't
Say
mind
what it
being.
is.
I don't mean. Okay, because I've become more political. I'm absolutely fine with an ethnically diverse Christian coming up to me and asking my beliefs. And if she feels offended by it by the end of the discussion, that's absolutely fine. But I will still give it to her uncensored. However, what is the difference between me and Orlando? And the reason why I'll be a bit more severe and brutal is because he has, and been more emotional at the same time, is that I will be willing to at least hear that someone thinks I'm a heretic, that I'm wrong, that I'm a racist, that I'm a bigot. I'm not taking your hand. I am willing to accept that fact. However, Orlando can't, which means he lives in a vacuum in an echo chamber, which is very dangerous for the Christian community. Now I'm going to take a break, go grab a drink, then I'll go speak to someone else.
Would you like some water?
Nah, something with a bit more caffeine, maybe.
You didn't get offended by me asking questions.
Of course not, but it is exhausting.
Speak off camera then.
Maybe another day.
Speak off camera.
I've just come all the way, a long way from.
I came from
disperse
Saudi.
that.
I come from Saudi, so you didn't come further than me. I'm Muslim.